Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Jordan McLeod from Texas State. You're listening to Fun Belt Podcast.
This is the Fun Belt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Hosts to Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howl Racer, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sun Belt.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating.
Welcome back to day 2 of Sunbelt Media Days. This is part 3 of our 3-part series of day 2 with the Sunbelt West. We talked to some great coaches and players in the last 2 episodes. We're going to finish it off with Texas State, GJ Kinney and his boys. We're going to talk to those guys. We're going to talk to Troy and new coach Gerard Parker. He's ready to go. I think you're going to like him. And then we cap it all off with an interview with the commission himself. Keith Gill talks a little bit about expansion, gets a little feisty about the group of 5 and its goals to win to get into the college football playoffs. So you're really going to want to stick around for that interview. He says a lot of cool stuff. And here we go, Tibbs. Let's do it. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in the UCF, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on some blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here.
The Sun Belt Conference champions 2 times running, but there's a new man in town, the new sheriff. Jared Parker joins us on Fun Belt Podcast. Welcome to the league, Coach. How great is it to be here at Sun Belt Media Days, getting ready for your inaugural season in Troy?
Well, it's been great. It's been a great morning. What an event. It's first class, just like the conference is, and everybody that represents it. So it's been a good morning. Been good to have these guys beside of me with us, and that's what it's about. It's about these players, and we're at a special place. I think we feel that way about it, and should, and these guys do too. And we're excited to see what's comes for us in 24.
You know, Coach John Summerall did a pretty good job at Troy. Ends up going to Tulane. You come in. Is there any pressure to follow that act, or are you just like, I'm just going to do my thing. This is going to be my team. We're going to get it done right.
Well, and I'm not. I understand what you're saying. I will say it's our team. You know, this is the people of our program. These players, they do this. Our job is to serve our players and our people. And so there's no pressure, and I mean that because I don't think of myself that important. My job is to serve our staff and our players. And so if you take yourself out of it, it doesn't seem as daunting or as big. I don't have an obligation to do this. I is a very scary word. This is about us. This is about these players becoming champions, the best version of themselves. And to win championships is certainly one of the standards. We work towards that every day through a process, and that process puts it about the people and these guys, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, it must be kind of nice to slide into a championship standard, though, where people expect to perform at a high level. So you don't have to, pull people out of bed or make people practice. You're just like, they're already there and on the field.
Amen. It's a high motivated building. It's a highly motivated program. And what better place do you want to put yourself in, like you said? Not meeting those standards or not being wired that way will expose you very quickly at Troy. And I like that about the place. There's a certain wired kind of human being that needs to work and play there. We've got those people there, and the people that can't do that don't last very long.
The defense, that's what Troy's really known for there. Jordan, what does this year's Troy defense look like early on as y'all get ready to break fall camp even?
We look very talented in very multiple spots. We're going to hit you with a lot of different things. We're very versatile. We got the players to do it. Coach Parker brought us some good guys. We got some returners coming back. Philip Lee, We got some guys like that on the D-line, Louis Medina, Raymond Cutts, guys like that. So I feel like it's going to be a very, very, very great year and ready for the challenge.
Coach Troy. You coach Troy. You're Coach Parker. Coach Parker brings with him offensive lineman Eli Rush and linebacker Jordan Stringer. Eli, you're one of the biggest men I've seen sit at this chair. So, and that's not a surprise because Troy always seems to churn out big offensive linemen. How does it feel being part of that tradition of Troy offensive linemen?
You know, it's really just an honor being at Troy. You know, I'm excited. I'm excited to play for this team. You know, entering that portal last year, it's a scary thing. It really is. You never know where you're going to land. I didn't know coming in. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. I really didn't, and I love it. It was probably the best decision I've ever made. Being with guys in the locker room, being with great coaches, just really mending together. I mean, and then following in a guy's footsteps like Jake Andrews. You know, he sets a high standard, and I hope to be at the standard that he's at.
How could you not love the home of the boll weevil?
The home of the boll weevil?
Yeah, Enterprise, that whole area. I mean, what is not to love about Troy? I mean, it was a city that was in Florida. They were trying to move it somewhere up north. It fell off the helicopter, and there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a small town growing up, and I'm not a big city guy by any means. I don't like a lot of people walking around me. I kind of like being on my own, and Troy's just about like that. They're kind of in their own little spot in Alabama. Nobody really bothers them.
Troy's that right size where the community just embraces the school wholeheartedly. That's what's part of the magic of Troy.
For sure.
Last season, weren't able to get the bowl victory, though, in the home state, in Birmingham.
Why did you have to bring that up?
I'm jealous.
All right. Well, yes, a ULM guy is jealous of all.
I'm very, very jealous. But what did it mean that you were in that position, right? You had another Sun Belt Conference championship. You get to play in the home state and really play in that next bowl game. And what does that motivate you to make sure you're on the victorious side of the next bowl game?
It really, so being out there, we had a great crowd. I mean, the crowd was just great. You know, then coming off that Sun Belt championship win, you know, we went into that game wanting to win. And also, the reason why I wanted to win so much just for his sake, just saying, bringing him in, I wanted him to come in on a winning note. So it's just the fact that we didn't put it off, it just kind of made me even more hungry. Okay, I got you, Coach Parker. We're going to get this thing going, popping. So it's just it just made me even more eager to get the defense ready and get some guys rolling and hey, I don't like the way we ended the year, but we still got another year ahead of us, and let's start that off the right way.
No one's wearing their Troy Sun Belt Conference championship ring.
You know, I had to give my fingers a break. You know, they're kind of heavy. I got two of them, so I ain't want to. I ain't want to wear them here. You know.
Well, Coach wants you constantly working out, and so I feel like that would have been a great opportunity that you could have had one on each hand. It's balanced.
Yeah. Sorry. How about this? When we get that third one, then that's when
then you're out of whack. It doesn't work like that. But no, with all the winning that's happened in Troy, how great is it, and how do you feel that's positioned you to really start making a better name for yourself, trying to get those looks to go on to the next level? You mentioned Jake and really his size and positioning him to go play at the next level.
You know, it's just one of those things. I always think if you just put your head down and do what you're told, good things are going to happen. And I think we got a whole football team that thinks the same way. I'm not looking for the future right now. I'm looking for Nevada, and then whatever happens after that, we'll get there. We'll get there.
There's a school that's a little bit further south of y'all. I know that we're not allowed to actually say their name.
Yeah, let's not say that one.
But how great is that, though, that you have that great rivalry and really have some pride to play for, not only in state but in the division, in the conference, to really kind of drive this game forward?
It's definitely something that helps as the season goes on. You know, it kind of gets, the best word, it kind of gets daunting. You know, it's the same thing every week. You're redoing scripts, you're doing this, you're doing that, watching film, and then you have that one big game in the middle of the year that really it kind of snaps you back into why you play football, why you want to play football. And it's a great rivalry. I mean, it's always a great game every time we play them. Everybody's excited. I mean, we travel well every year. That's football. That's what football is.
What about you on the defensive side?
It's always great going against those guys. I haven't lost to them yet, and I don't plan to. So, it's always fun though. Like that's just like you said, a game you look forward to. You've been going all week with scripts, preparing for other teams. Just like then when you see that game, it's like okay, it's on and popping. Like you know what, I already know what they're doing. Don't even worry about it. We ain't even got it. It's just like it's an ego thing. Like nobody want to lose that game, and we want to keep that belt in Troy. So it's just always fun to play those guys, and we winners. So we're gonna win.
Coach Parker, I saw you up on the podium, and you were talking about your out-of-conference schedule. Start off with Nevada, you get Memphis, going to be a tough game. Then you go out to Iowa. You finish off with Florida A&M, and that's not a give-me a shot either. You seem to relish the tough OOC. Do you like a tough OOC?
Yes. I think here's the thing. We've got to know about our football team before we enter what we know and believe is to be the best conference in Group of 5. We better know about it. How are we going to know about it? We got to go through some fire. So why not get in it? I think it's a good start for us. I love those other 3 games right after Nevada that put us a chance to challenge ourselves, to go through the fire, to see where maybe some of our issues are and fix them, right? But also see where a lot of our positives are. We need to know who can get to the ball on defense and be disruptive playmakers, and then we also need to know who can make plays with the ball and protect us as well. Like, we have to go through it, and we're going to be able to test those waters some in fall camp, but the best way to do it is when we play real games. The out-of-conference schedule has to prepare you for that. So I look forward to it. I know our guys embrace playing anytime, any place, anywhere. That's who this program has been and how it was built, and we'll continue to embrace it the same way.
Coach, you come to Troy, though, from Notre Dame. You got some good old Sunbelt heat while you were there with Marshall. They're not on the schedule yet, but, if things line up, that could be a championship-type game. Have you seen Coach Huff and kind of told him, I remember, and it's on between us?
I did not say that. But in my first year at Notre Dame, they, in fact, came up there to South Bend and beat us. And I knew Coach Huff from past through our Penn State connections and spoke to him at the media days, or not at our media days, but our head coaching meetings in May and Destin. I'm very familiar with Marshall. It's 35 minutes from where I grew up, so know the program well, know a lot of people attached to it, and that would be cool to have to play them this year because that means something went really well for both programs.
I got a question for Russ. How much shit-talking is going on in the trench? Are those offensive linemen leading it, or is it the defensive linemen?
It kind of depends. I mean, you get a guy like Daniel King next to you, he'll kind of throw you in the fire with him. He's kind of the main perp.
Drags you into
he'll drag you into
the fight.
He will, yeah. No, I really don't talk a lot when I'm in the game. Really, I kind of just worry about myself. But it is fun seeing some guys, get after it. Some guys get real hot, but.
So you're not a guy who thrives on the fuel of anger. You're more cerebral.
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta keep my composure.
Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you.
I gotta stay pretty calm. I'll miss a few calls and put us in a bind if I'm not.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there ever holding on a play?
No.
Good answer.
I don't know why they keep throwing those flags for that.
It's the craziest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just trying to stop us.
Yeah.
I think the refs are getting paid off. No, I'm joking.
They're tired and they got to slow the game down so they can keep up.
Right.
Yeah.
Get their water break. Got to go to the sideline.
And the offensive lineman is the guy they throw under the bus.
Every time I get held all the time, they don't throw that flag.
Guys, we can't thank you enough. Looking forward to seeing is the three-peat in the cards, and we'll check it out when y'all face off against Nevada and everyone else in the non-conference slate.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you
for coming on, guys.
Jeremy, the best team in the Sun Belt West.
Yes.
My favorite team.
Your adopted team.
My adopted team. Yeah. Viva La Boobcats join us. Head coach G.J. Kinney. Last year you did okay, right? I mean, it was an all right year. How did you kind of see it shaking out in your inaugural year there in San Marcos?
Yeah, how would you grade yourself?
Yeah, I think Like you said, I think it was good at times, a little inconsistent. Obviously, we started off really well with the win versus Baylor, and getting to that bowl game and winning the bowl game I think was big, but didn't close out some games that we had right in front of us, and I don't think, to be honest, we were ready to win a championship. I don't think we were there. I think this offseason's been good for us. Obviously, we've had some really key players. We're able to retain key players and have a chance to really make a run at it this year.
So what a difference a year makes. You have the first year you were here, sitting in front of us. You're a new guy. You come from Incarnate Word. A lot of us were calling you the Word Cats because you brought in so many guys from Incarnate Words. We didn't really know what to expect from you.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that you were kind of, I don't know, I think in some ways you sort of laid down the foundation for how to come into a new situation, bring in a lot of your own guys, players and staff, and then work from there. Is that a blueprint that you advise others to follow?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would, they can try. It's tough to bring in that many new players and go out there and win. But I think we had the coaching staff in place to do that. I think the players buying in. I think anytime, like you said, we were able to win that first one, I think it gives you, your players some confidence, gives your players some buy-in. And it wasn't easy last year. There were some ups. There was obviously some downs as well. But I think the guys that we have on the team, the culture that we have built, a guy like Brett Huth, our strength and conditioning coach, I think does a tremendous job with that and is one of the best in the country. And then obviously we have some really good players. I think coaching sometimes is it's obviously important, don't get me wrong, but having these guys like these guys, obviously Ish was with us last year, first team All-American and led the country in all-purpose yards. You get good players, it makes us coaches look a little better.
The focus last year was definitely TJ Finley and what he was doing, slinging the rock around. But as Coach Kenny said, I mean, the running game was there. Ismail, how do you kind of put that behind you to start moving forward and really try to repeat and do it again this year?
Just not worrying about last year and what I did last year, and just it's a new year and just focus what's in front of me. Just focus what's in front of me and just forget about last year. It's a new year and just keep going.
You've been there through some good times, not so good times. How sweet was that water when it hit your face, diving in with Coach Kenny, with Kef Chardello got to jump in, President Damphouse. How great was that feeling? Yeah,
it was a good feeling, to get that 6th win and to be able to know that we're going to a bowl game.
So I was wondering, what do you think is a cleaner body of water, Beautiful Eagle Creek or the river that runs through Texas State?
The river that runs through Texas, because it moves.
That's right. It's not stagnant.
It's not stagnant.
It looks a lot more fun.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
So there was a little bit of quarterback brouhaha in the offseason. TJ Finley, he's leaving. You get some other guys in, and they're not in. It looked like doom and gloom. How did you convince Jordan McLeod to come to Texas State?
Yeah, I don't think it was a lot of doom and gloom for us, maybe from the outside world.
From the outside, it looked like
from a former quarterback, you always got to stay calm and collected. But I don't think it could have worked out any better for us than getting the reigning Sun Belt Player of the Year in Jordan McLeod, and somebody that's just a great person, has great experience in the Sun Belt, and does things the right way on and off the field, and someone that's really come in the spring and really earned his job. There was nothing given to him, and he's come out here and really competed his butt off, and he will continue to compete, just like Ish will, just like everyone else in fall camp. We have a bunch of really good players, but I think Jordan has a chance to be a special player and continuing to build off the success that he had last year in a new system, which is hard to do.
How do you kind of maneuver that, right? Because you want to look at it. Obviously, what happened at James Madison was fantastic for him. It was a great system. And then also the second part of that, Jordan, how do you not look back at James Madison realizing that you're wearing the maroon and gold and it's going to be different?
Yeah, I think for Jordan, I think he'll say this too. Those coaches last year did a really good job, and I think those guys are really good coaches as well. And they had a good scheme and good players around them. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jordan decided to come to Texas State, because of guys like Ish, because of guys like Joey Hober, because of our offensive line, Cole Wilson. he knows, he's been around enough to know at the quarterback position you have to have good players around you, and I think that was one of the things that attracted to him, as well as the scheme that we run at Texas State, and so it's been a great match so far, and I'm really looking forward to kind of what he does this fall.
Definitely picking back off what Coach said. This was like a match made in heaven. I've been knowing Coach Kenny even before I went to JMU. We were talking. But coming here was just a decision, kind of like he said. I know it's a very explosive offense with explosive pieces. A quarterback's nothing without the pieces around him. So only thing, obviously last year was a great year for me. But those coaches did, like he said, coaches did a great job having me prepared every week and things like that. So, and I wanted to make sure that I went somewhere where coaches are. It's a strong offensive-minded coaching staff, obviously, with him and Coach Matt. They're going to have me ready, prepared each and every week to go out there confident, ready to go, and just be able to only thing from last year that I'm going to really take is just, obviously the confidence is going to keep going up, and then just knowing, going back to my training and the experience moments that, I know what's coming, especially in this conference.
How great is it, though? You talk about the pieces, the components, that you don't necessarily have to be Jordan McLeod, right? Because you have a great running back there. You have Joey Hobart. How much of a relief is that, knowing that you have those pieces around you that you can kind of grow into that system?
It's amazing. I don't have to try to be a superhero. I just do my job each and every play. Get my guys the ball. I know if it's 3rd and 12, I don't try to have to make a Hail Mary play to get the first down. I can, a guy like Ish, I can check it down to him. I know he'll pick it up. Just being the point guard of the offense, really.
Ishmael, he doesn't have to be a superhero. Why does he wear a cape everywhere he goes?
This is him.
Coach, this feels like a typo to me. Maybe you can clear this up to me.
Oh,
You opened the season, Lamar, UTSA, Arizona State, Sam Houston. Are they all coming to San Marcos?
Sam Houston's not. We play him neutral at NRG.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do have Lamar, UTSA, and Arizona State at home to open the season.
Man, that's not bad. That's not bad for the fans. How did that come about? Or is that not you?
It was all my plan. I planned that out and was looking ahead and got that done. But no, I think it sets up really nice for us. And we figured that out last year. Playing on the road is tough, and especially in this conference, and it's playing on the road in college football is tough in general. So many home games that we can get, the more the merrier.
Texas State enters the season in the preseason poll. Everybody knows that polls are kind of wonky, especially in the preseason.
Yep.
But the consensus number one. But right behind you are about 3 teams that are really vying for that. So it looks like a real dogfight in the Sun Belt West. What do you think about the West this year?
Yeah, I think obviously I think you got to start with the teams that have coaches returning. You talk about Arkansas State, Louisiana. I think those teams, and you look, especially Louisiana, they didn't lose as much maybe in the portal as some of these other teams. I always think Arkansas State does a really good job of recruiting, and they have some really talented players as well. And then Troy and Monroe and South Al have new coaches, obviously, and South Al having Coach Applewhite. He's been there, so that helps. But I think the turnover from those programs, maybe some unknown with Monroe bringing in so many new guys, especially at the JUCO level. South Al losing some guys and new coaching staff and new players, and Troy same thing, losing most of their coaches and a lot of their really good players, and so that'll be interesting to see kind of what they look like. But I think Arkansas State and Louisiana, just the returning production that they have and keeping their staff intact. I think maybe people overlooking those guys were for me, obviously, I don't know, my opinion. I think they're going to be really talented.
Jordan, last year you were a citizen of the tough Sun Belt East. Now you come into the West. What's your appraisal of the West? How do you see the West this year?
I've played 2 teams on the West last year with Troy and South Al.
So 2 of the toughest.
Yeah, so I know it's a tough brand of football, but like I said, we just got to go out each and every day and earn the right to win. Obviously, we can be first now, but we have to earn that each and every Saturday or whatever day we play. And so I know it's going to be a tough brand of football. We just got to do our job and play Texas State brand of football.
Ismail, 8-5 last year. That's a great year. What does another year look like this year? If you slip and you're 7-6, is that still a good year, or do you feel that you got to maintain that 8, maybe even go into 9?
I think we need to go, 12-0. That's our goal. But we gotta, just worry about one game at a time and just, 1-0 every game. And, just go out there and give everything we got. And we can't, shoot ourselves in the foot, make those little mistakes and stuff like that. So we just gotta go out and just keep doing the little things right.
He's got the amazing coach speak there. No. You've done well training him up there, Coach.
That's God given right there, and his parents, they do a great job. One team, obviously, I failed to mention with my comment is Southern Miss. For some reason, sometimes I think about them being the East, being from Texas, and that, what I'm saying, they're kind of. But obviously, Coach Hall does a tremendous job there, and he has a new offensive coordinator that has been in similar systems and similar coaching trees that I've been a part of, and I think they're going to be a much improved team. Obviously, we went there last year and kind of jumped on them early, and then they came back and made it a dogfight late. So I expect them to be maybe a team that the same thing. Coach has been there for a couple years, recruiting his own guys to maybe make a splash.
Yeah, we talked to Will Hall before we talked to you, and he was. We kind of noted. We commented on how spunky that team was.
Yeah.
They had some problems, but they just kept pushing and improved throughout the season. No reason why they can't start to improve this year.
For sure.
You get to come into the league, 5 new head coaches this year. Did you have any advice for the new guys on the block? I mean, I know you're only in your sophomore season, but did you have some freshman advice for them?
No, another team I didn't mention. I guess I'm not very good at this. I'm a better coach than I am media person is ULM and Monroe and Brian Vincent, and he's probably my closest coaching friend in the Sun Belt. Somebody that I've known. I was actually a GA at SMU, and I went and picked him up when he came to speak to our offensive guys at SMU. So me and him go back a ways, and think really, really highly of Coach Vincent and kind of what he's all about and his coaching circle and who he's worked for and kind of way he does things. And I bringing in that many junior college guys, it'll be different, and it might take them a week or two to get going, but I think those guys have a chance to be much improved as well.
Jordan, NCAA football's out. Is it weirder to see yourself in the game or in a Texas State uniform?
I would say myself in a game only because it's been 10 years. We're blessed that it happened this year, the year before I got out of college. So I'm thankful of that. I finally got it. It's been a long time. It's fun.
Did you win the Heisman yet?
I have not. I have not played it that deep. I'll be a little tired from workouts and stuff like that, but I play it a lot.
One good thing is it was a good time to have some momentum going into a season. Obviously, I think we're ranked 82 overall in the game and get to play. You can play with yourself. You know what I'm saying? As far as get the opportunity to play with Texas State. You're not out there having to play with Texas or Miami or something like that. You go out there and beat people with Texas State. And Ish is like a cheat code on the game. I'm telling you, the dude is unstoppable. Oh yeah,
Tecmo Bowl of old.
Oh yeah, just give him it's kind of much like real life. Just give him the ball and let him run.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Kenny, is there a chance that this game becomes a way for coaches to scout opposing teams?
I saw someone say that. I think that's a good idea, especially just learning the roster. Not necessarily who's good, who's not good, but if you look on there and seeing what they have returning and maybe not the schemes as much because that might be a little gray, but personnel-wise, I think it's a good idea to maybe doing a scouting ahead, hey, you're about to play, UTSA week 2 after we play Lamar, and all of our focus there, hey, that week when you get done with meetings, go home and play UTSA and kind of see who you're playing against.
That has been done already.
Exactly.
I'm just waiting for the day. I already picture Ismail. He comes in just pissed at you as all get out. And you're like, dude, what did I do? And you're like, you didn't get a first down last night. It's Tuesday, Coach. So there's always that downside of it as well.
No, he gets the first down. You got to play with the Bobcats on there. He's a cheat code. He's unstoppable.
Well, guys, we look forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to the Week 3 matchup there against Arizona State. I'll be in attendance representing the Fun Belt podcast, so looking forward to it and seeing what McLeod can do and my favorite back. He's right here.
I know. He's your favorite running back.
He's my favorite running back. So looking forward to seeing him on the field this year. GJ, best wishes for year 2, and hopefully we'll be talking bowl games here soon.
Yeah, have a good season, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Welcome to the show, Keith.
Actually, it's great to be here. And thanks for being here. Really appreciate all of your coverage and support of Sunbelt football and sports generally.
Well, it's a pleasure for us. I'm just going to start out with the hot question, Tibbs.
Go for it.
We getting Clemson and Florida State. There's rumors that you've been seen at those places, that you've been shaking hands, striking deals. Right now, you can go ahead and put those rumors to rest.
He's not going to tell it. Remember, we asked him directly, have you ever been to Huntington? And he was like, no, I've never been to Huntington. And, yeah.
Rumors aren't founded.
I want to tell you, you know what? There's a lot of speculation around that. We're all watching those lawsuits and just trying to see how that's going to play out. Such interesting times. Kind of crazy.
So one bomb, I said you dropped bombs. You didn't really drop a lot of bombs. It was a really calm presser for you. But you did make a statement that created a couple waves. And that was because some people have been saying the opposite. You have no interest in a group of 5 playoffs. You said the goal of the Sun Belt is to be part of the college football playoffs. I think it was somebody from the American maybe who said that they'd be interested in a group of 5 playoffs. Yeah. Personally, I'm not interested in that at all. Why did you feel like you needed to clear that up?
Just because I just keep hearing people talk about it, and I really do have strong feelings that just shouldn't be our focus. At the end of the day, we spend a lot of times with people trying to put us at the kiddie table. I don't know why we would voluntarily go there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I just think trying to be focused on we want to be with all 133 FBS schools, right? We don't want to say, well, we're ranked 15 if you take out these 65. It just seems like anytime you're doing complicated math in athletics, you're probably doing the wrong math. And so I just think that our focus should just be on CFP, advancing in the CFP, the polls that are kind of the traditional FBS polls, and just trying to do everything we can to just say, hey, we're FBS and we're going to compete for the things that all FBS conferences and schools compete for.
Even though you don't want that, you also implied you were not in favor of kind of a G5 top 25.
Right.
Does that not help us, though, kind of solidify and showcase that the Sun Belt's better than the American, better than the Mountain West, when you kind of have that and you can see it in black and white right there?
Yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it, and I want to be better than all those conferences, but I also want to showcase that we're as good as the Big 12 or the ACC, and so I just think anytime you kind of extricate yourself and create a kind of different scale and a different measurement, I just don't know that that's the best way to proceed. I certainly know that I could be in the minority, and I don't know that my opinion is necessarily the right one. And I think there's value in everything, so I think you can find good value in kind of a different approach. I just don't think it's the right approach for us. It's not really what I'm focused on. I don't want to be the best non-autonomy FBS conference. I just want to be the best conference, and that's what we'll strive for. That's what we'll focus on, and I think that makes things more simple and easy.
So one thing that we still have a little ways to go on is basketball. But you're now the number 2, soon to be the number 1 for the basketball selection committee. I know you have to recuse yourself to vote, but how great is that for the league, knowing that we do have a seat at the table and we have that representation?
Yeah, I think it's really good visibility. Those are highly visible positions, and I think it really helps, the Sun Belt. I also think it's a affirmation of the respect that the league has gained. I don't know that appointment is so much about me as much as it is about the Sun Belt and the respect that people have for it. So I'm excited about the opportunity, excited about the role, and but I do think it's going to be helpful in terms of our visibility. And I do think your earlier point, we do need to be better at basketball. I think we can be. I think it should be a focus of ours. It is a focus of ours, and we just got to keep taking strides in that regard in a positive direction.
So with football, college football becoming a more narrow avenue for programs to see the college football playoffs, for instance. Mm-hmm. the Big Ten and the SEC have really started to make it harder and harder for other programs to get in. Does it just make great sense that basketball is still a place where programs can shine? Is this part of the reason why the Sun Belt has made such a push to elevate its basketball profile?
Yeah, I think part of it is just, and I don't know how sophisticated it is, I just feel like we should be good at everything, and if you look across the sports, in 2018-19, we had 17 kind of NCAA postseason and bowl teams. Last year we had 37, and that's tremendous. We've doubled that. And part of it is, we got 4 baseball teams in. We got 4 volleyball teams in the NCAA tournament. We got 5 men's soccer teams, along with 3 in the Sweet 16. And so, 3 softball teams, 2 women's soccer teams. And so basketball is a natural place where we should be good. And so I just think putting some investment in there. Now, it's going to take a while because we need more top 100 teams, and we're not going to get it done by just having 2 top 70 teams like we did last year on the men's side. And so we've got a ways to go, but I think we should strive to be good at everything. I think that's really important.
So what's next for the Sun Belt? I mean, we know that realignment is kind of stable, at least right now, for the Sun Belt. So it's not a who are we adding, maybe who are we kicking. I mean, it's kind of where we are at. We have good representation. We know we need to step it up for basketball. But what's next for the Sun Belt?
Yeah, I think to me the number one goal is to get someone in the CFP and become a team that earns a regular CFP bid. And when I think regular, I'm thinking, at least 3 times every 5 years. I mean, I don't think that's too lofty a goal for us, and I think that will kind of really solidify where we are in the football space. So I think that first and foremost is kind of the number one kind of focus and the number one goal. I do think the basketball piece is next. We just need to be better. We should be a multi-bid league. We need to get more top 100 teams, and I think we can do that. And then I think we need to advance in some of the other sports. We got 4 baseball teams in last year. All 4 made the regional final. So we were one step away from the super regional in 4 sports, but none of them made it over the hump. We got to get 2 of those teams in, in the super regional on a regular basis, and the same for softball. So I think that's really it. Taking that next step when we make it into an NCAA tournament to advance, to take steps forward in ways that are meaningful and in ways that we deserve for the quality of our programs.
Commissioner Gill, you've been the commissioner for a few years now. You've really put your mark on the conference. What are some of the things that you're most proud in your tenure as commissioner of the Sun Belt?
Yeah, that postseason, going from 17 to 37, I think is huge. I think the 12 bowl teams that we had last year, I think 3 years ago we had 4 bowl teams, and now we've increased that by 8. In our peer conferences we all had 37, so the 5 of kind of conferences that are non-autonomy. We had 37 bowl appearances. We had 12 of those. That's a third. So that's huge. But I do think the realignment piece is most important, and all these things are. They're not things that I've done. They're things that collectively happened while I was here. But I really do think if you think about the change of us kind of pre-realignment and post-realignment, it's just really been significant in terms of how we've restructured the league, the divisional play, the regional rivalries, the quality of the programs that we added. I think if there's a single thing you point to relative to, why is the Sun Belt ascending the way it is, I think it's the way that realignment was managed, and our presidents and chancellors did a great job with that, along with our ADs, because I really do think it set us up for success in the short term, but better in the long term as well.
We had a great conversation with Ricky Ronnie of Old Dominion.
Every conversation with Ricky Ronnie
is fantastic. It really is. He talked about how much his kids enjoyed going to the famous Toastery Bowl last year, even though he didn't really know what one was, but he discovered it and everything else.
Yeah.
By the request of the Ricky Ronnie family, they want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. How can we get a tie to a game like that?
You know what? I will tell you this. Those may be 2 of the best of the bowl mascots. because I was at
Yeah.
the famous Toastery Bowl, and they actually had 2 people running around in toast outfits. You know what I mean? And so they had these 2 big giant toasts running around doing things like if they were the San Diego Chicken. And then obviously I watched the Pop-Tart Bowl on TV, and having a big giant Pop-Tart and having the big edible one at the end is a pretty cool thing. So
I like the sort of almost human sacrifice at the end of that. Dump them into the toaster, he pops out all toasted.
yeah. So I do think those are great. You know, it's funny you raise that though. On a serious note, you know, we got 2 years left on our bowl cycle, in the bowl cycle. So we are going to start looking for new bowl partners, you know, and we've got 5 primary partners right now. I really feel like the number for us is 8. You know, we got 14 teams. If we can get to 8 bowls, that's more than 50%, or 8 primary partners. That'll be good. And so I do think for us there are going to be some, you know, new bowls that are in our mix as we kind of go forward, which I think will be possible. So, you know, we'll look for that prior to the 26th season. And I think that'll be positive for us.
I mean, everybody wants to go to the postseason, right? And so you got to make sure you have those tie-ins as much as possible. But is there any kind of limitations? Like, I think last year where Georgia State had to go all the way to Idaho. Great bowl, great mascot as well.
Yeah.
But is that something that you're like, well, it would have been better if maybe they could have gone to the Liberty Bowl because it's more regionalized or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, I think it kind of depends. I mean, I think we have a lot of bowls that are regionalized that make some sense. I think, you know, going all the way to Boise from Atlanta, you know, if they could have been closer, it might have made some sense. But I also think there's some real positives about playing that game. I mean, one, we love playing Mountain West in the bowl. That's a good opportunity to play one of our peer conferences. I feel like Charlie Cobb told me, the AD at Georgia State, that no student athlete on their roster had ever been to Idaho and ever been to Boise. And I think that's a great kind of educational opportunity that is good. So, you know, I think, Dusty, I think you bring up some good points in terms of, is it better, more regional? I think it certainly could be. And I think there's a case to be made for that because Utah State didn't have to travel as far, and Georgia State had to travel much farther, and that probably makes it a little more harder to win. But you know, Georgia State found a way to be victorious, which was great, and rushed for a whole bunch of yards and had a great game. So I think when you're playing 12 bowl games, our first goal was to make sure we weren't playing Sunbelt on Sunbelt.
That was dangerous.
That was number one, right? Yeah. We didn't want to do that. And then our next goal was to try to get good opponents. And we didn't worry so much about proximity because we knew a lot of our bowls would be in proximity, but it was going to be hard getting 12 that all of them would be. So I think we'll still be open to that, particularly if the matchup is good. If we can play an American team or a Mountain West team, those are good matchups for us.
The forgotten factor of that game, Georgia State's slogan, "Light it blue." They were on the blue turf.
They were practically on their home turf.
They were at home.
They adopted it.
So I apologize and retract it all.
They were able to run the ball like nobody's business that day.
So, Commissioner Gill, every year it seems like the Sun Belt's adding another sport. Maybe every other year there's a new sport that comes in. You see anything on the horizon that maybe the Sun Belt might be dabbling into?
You know, I really don't. You know, I mean, I'm not great on the crystal ball.
Hey, let me just throw out one.
Okay, sounds like you have a suggestion.
Bowling! Don't let CUSA take all of our teams.
I know, I know. Yeah, and we've got some Sun Belt teams that are good bowling teams. So I don't anticipate any on the horizon in that regard. But you know, that's a membership thing. You know, we added these sports because we added some members that had them. Right. At the end of the day, they were kind of like, hey, we want to be in the primary conference for as many sports as we could. And we were just trying to accommodate that. And I think those things have been good for us. So we'll keep our eye open, but I really don't anticipate. I don't anticipate anything.
So probably
bowling
not
would
field
be fun,
hockey
though.
or lacrosse or anything like that. You don't see that.
Yeah, I would not anticipate that. And partly because we don't have that many primary members with lacrosse, right? Yeah. You know, and they're in some good conferences already. And so we want to try to make sure when we're adding, we're not disrupting the space. And so I think that's important. So I don't see anything on the horizon. That I can. Yeah,
Jeremy, that's how realignment starts. The doors open. That Conference USA has bowling. They're like, How about your women's tennis team? They want to come over as well, right? And then it's until we lose members.
I like it. You're going to move your football team because of the bowling team.
That's right.
Exactly.
We want to be in a better bowling conference.
We really just want that bowling team. The football team can stay.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit about realignment, which is just a silly thing right now. The SEC guy, or maybe it was the Big 12 guys, I think it was the SEC guy, came out and said, we're really not interested in expanding anymore. We don't want to divide that pie anymore. Is that kind of where the Sun Belt is? Is the pie just at the right size and the right shape?
Yeah, I think it's less about dividing the pie and more about the complexities of adding members. I feel like for me, if I was basing a conference just on numbers, it would be 12. So 14 even stretches kind of my imagination a little bit.
Unwieldy.
However, when you have opportunities to add JMU and Marshall and Southern Miss and Old Dominion, I don't think you should be tethered by arbitrary rules about what number you think is best. And those brands are important. But I think getting beyond 14 starts to get really hard and really challenging. And so I think for me, I don't see expansion kind of in our horizon, certainly not thinking about it or looking at it. Obviously, we're monitoring the landscape, a lot going on, particularly in that ACC area in terms of looking at what's happening there. And so we just want to make sure that we're aware of what's going on and its potential implications on us. But we feel really good about our membership. We feel really good about our numbers and really excited about kind of who we are right now.
Florida State wants out of the ACC. I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I love your hamburger AirPod charger case thing.
I've lost the top, though.
Oh, man. Okay.
Jeremy, you see how quickly he shifts? That means he's had the conversation, right? That's what we can read into that.
I think that's true.
Actually, really read it. I've never seen one of those.
I know.
It's got the big cheese on it. That's really
it's
legit.
beautiful. My wife has one that's a grenade, so I like
grenade?
that even better.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Pop it open.
Wow.
It's really cool. Commissioner, we're glad to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time. I know we've watched you bounce around like a bee from flower to flower, pollinating everybody with wisdom.
With something.
You probably answered the same question 1,000 times. We appreciate you coming on to this show.
For sure.
And giving us a bit of that wisdom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and thanks for all you do to support the Sun Belt. Really appreciate you being here at Media Day and being here all throughout the season.
No, it's our honor.
Great.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much.